Welcome to another episode of the Daily Chat Podcast, where we talk about all things awesome and nerdy. Guys, we're going to be doing a couple of things this episode, but first off, as always, my partner in crime and your decent friend, Dan Tundis. Dan, welcome back to the show.
Hey. Finger guns.
Finger guns.
Hey.
Yeah. Bang, 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 bang. All right, so we're going to...
Who's the wrestler that did that? Dustin Diamond Dallas... Was it Diamond Dallas Page?
Bang, bang. From...
DDP?
DDP?
Yeah.
What's DDP again?
Diamond Dallas Page, the wrestler.
Oh, you're a bigger wrestling fan than I am.
Yeah,
so.
that's maybe true.
Yeah. I actually found the other day, I was going through TJ Maxx, and I found a really old Ric Flair action figure.
Oh, no, dude, you had to buy that.
My girlfriend was like, messaged me, he's like, we gotta go, and the line was too long.
That is the one thing I hate about those stores. I walk into those stores, the line is 75 people deep, and it's like, you know what? I really don't need throw pillows.
Exactly.
I'm done.
Exactly. Like I need a brand new screen protector for my iPhone, and I was at Marshall's right next door. And by the way, this is not a fucking plug for either one of these stores.
Did you hear that, Marshalls?
Fuck you. No, I'm just kidding. Not fuck you guys. But no, honestly, I just needed a screen protector, and I found one for $4. I was like, oh, okay, I could totally use this, because it's one of the tempered glass ones that's supposed to be, better resistant and everything like that. So they say. And, the line was 100 people long. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to order this off of another website.
Yeah, no kidding. And it's not like every single person in line has 60 items that they're buying.
Right, you're the one jackass not shopping at Marshalls or TJ Maxx, right?
Right, yeah. It's like everyone has individual M&Ms, each with their own barcode.
Right, exactly.
That all have to be scanned, and they pay in change.
Hey, how did that brown one get in there?
And they have to pay in change.
Right, exactly.
Anyway,
so we got a few things we want to talk about. The first thing we want to talk about is we're in the throes of Comic-Con right now, and they're dropping trailers.
And we're not going.
We're not going. No, because we're sad and pathetic. But at any rate...
well, I wouldn't say that.
Well, I'm sad and pathetic then.
Well, you are.
Okay. At any rate, so we're not going to get too far into it. We just want to talk about the two trailers from Comic-Con that entice us the most so far, and above all...
There's going to be a lot of trailers from Comic-Con, and I feel like saying that these entice us, I would say that these are available.
Okay. That's a much better way of putting it.
This is 1:58, and the bar lights are about to come on, and this is what's left in the room.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is what we found.
Yeah, this is what's available.
Exactly.
Right now.
So at any rate, the point I'm trying to get is the first trailer we want to talk about, though, is the oldest one, and it's probably one we should have talked about way back in April when it dropped, but we just noticed it, and we want to talk about it, The Meg. So if Skyscraper was just starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, was just basically, Die Hard, only in a bigger tower.
With one
leg. Well, actually, if we want to be technical about it, John McClane had no feet.
He had feet. He just got injured feet.
He had injured feet, missing one foot. Tomato. Call it a draw.
No, it's not. No, because he still had 2 feet at the end of the movie. Dwayne Johnson only has 1 foot at the end of the movie.
All right.
Dwayne Johnson's character.
All right, fine. But there's more family of it. Whatever. The point I'm trying to...
Do you think there's a scene where The Rock hops around on one leg?
There probably is. There has to be. There has to be.
Yeah. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard good things.
I have not heard good things.
I just saw Jumanji, and I very begrudgingly went into that and enjoyed it.
I heard it was actually a very enjoyable movie.
It is.
But at any rate, so The Meg is just basically Jaws, only the shark is bigger.
And it's
underwater.
And it looks like they got a bigger boat.
Yeah, they did get a bigger boat.
So it's it's funny. I started watching Deep Blue Sea the other night with my girlfriend.
They ate me.
and she got about 45 minutes into the movie, and she's never done this, but she vehemently insisted that we turn it off.
And you're at the halfway point.
But I also saw her point. It is terrible. This movie looks bad. This is just... It's just... Yeah. I mean, it just looks so bad.
Right.
It's unfathomable.
Right.
You should see the trailer. If you haven't seen the trailer, you should stop what you're doing, watch the trailer, come on back, and you'll know what we're talking about.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think a little dog gets eaten, which is so dumb because the shark is so huge.
Right.
Why does it matter?
That little dog will not satiate that shark's unquenchable appetite.
Right. It would be like if you ate a crumb off your countertop. It'd be like, oh no, the crumb. I can't
right. Exactly. What they need to do though is have a Meg Jurassic World crossover movie.
I have so many questions. I wish you had gotten to see Jurassic World, and I wish we got to review it, because I have so many questions about that movie that make absolutely no sense whatsoever.
Maybe we can do a delayed review or a response to the movie in a little bit.
Like a post-mortem on Jurassic Park,
yeah,
Jurassic
exactly.
World.
Which, let's be real here, that franchise needed to stop after one movie.
I like The Lost World.
Was that the second one?
Yeah.
That one wasn't that bad.
At
least that one didn't have Alan dreaming about talking raptors.
Yeah. Hey, Alan! The last 20 minutes of that movie totally falls off the rails, and I'll agree with that. But up until that point, like, it's pretty solid. Like,
it's not that bad.
It's not the first one. Nothing's the first one. The first one is the first one.
No, but can I be real here, though, that as you get older, and you remember a few years ago when they re-released the first one in IMAX?
Yes.
You know, as you get older as an adult, you start to question just, like, small little details about it. You know, like, for example, the scene when they're trying to scale down the tree before the Jeep crushes them.
Yeah.
You know the scene? The whole time I'm watching that, like, when you're a little kid and I saw that movie for the first time in theaters, I was like, oh my god, they gotta get away from that Jeep. Hope they get to the bottom before it's too late. As an adult, I'm kind of like, why are they going directly down? Why don't they go around the tree and get out of its path first?
Right. Yeah.
Just things like that, you know?
No, I mean, that's the thing about, like, the new Jurassic World, is that there's so many, like, hard logical questions that, like, don't make sense from any perspective.
Well, the whole premise of the movie is the island with all the dinosaurs that killed a whole bunch of people is about to blow up. We got to save the dinosaurs, and I'm just sitting there going, why?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the biggest one.
That's the only. That is the first question, and in all honesty, that is the last question.
So I think we can say, after reviewing the trailer for the Meg, that we hope they kill the shark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it'll probably be like Jason Statham with, like, a bunch of dynamite.
Well, what if we get a bunch of sequels and one of them becomes Meg 3D? The Revenge. The Meg, The Revenge.
Mega Revenge?
Is the Megvenge?
Megvenge 3?
The Meg Vengeance.
The Meg Vengeance. The Meg Stendables.
No, we're just coming up with awful items for the...
It's just like an action movie starring, like, a megalodon and, like, one of the...
Jason Statham.
Jason Statham and, like, one of the genetically created raptors and, like, Terry Crews. And they have to, like, topple...
And
like,
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
And they have to
because...
topple an Eastern European dictator who's totally not Stalin. Totally not Stalin.
You know, Dan...
Robo-Stalin.
Yes!
Robo-Stalin.
Mecha-Stalin.
Mecha-Stalin. Mecha-Stalin versus Megalodon.
Versus Godzilla.
That script writes itself.
Oh, yeah.
There's a new... so I know what we were going to do 3, but so fuck the Meg. We're past that now.
Yeah.
That we all know that's going to be trash. Watch the trailer. You can see for yourself. I'm still going to see it.
Right.
Godzilla King of Monsters. Godzilla 2 is coming out.
Is Bryan Cranston coming back in this movie?
No, he is not. No, he's not. But it's got 11.
It's got 11?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The guy from Stranger Things.
Is she gonna...
And the guy who plays Tywin Lannister, whose name I forget. I'm good with character names, not actor names. And I feel like if there's one person who could stare down Godzilla, it's Tywin Lannister.
Tywin Lannister, yes. Whoever this character is he's going to be playing, we shall see.
Any Godzilla who calls himself a king is no king at all.
You could just see Godzilla showing up on, like, San Francisco or Tokyo or whatever city it is he's going to blow up. And then all of a sudden there's just Tywin Lannister just staring right at the edge of the ocean, just
disappointingly.
Just giving that stare, and you just see Godzilla go, ah! And just slowly sinks back into the ocean.
Apparently, the new Godzilla movie is supposed to have Mothra. Dope.
Yeah.
What's the three-headed one?
Ghidra?
No.
I think it's Ghidra.
Rodin?
Rodin?
Rodin.
How do I know these?
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I don't even like kaiju movies that much.
I mean, I like kaiju movies, but just not enough to remember them.
Exactly. Well, I mean, because they all have silly names to my Western tongue.
And they all just kind of, like, fold into one another.
It's all the same.
It's
all the same.
It's like there's the Godzilla movies that are in black and white and corny, and then the Godzilla movies that are in color and corny, and then the Godzilla movies that are CG made and corny.
And then there's the one starring Matthew Broderick.
God, that one is terrible.
That's a lot of fish.
With the song done by P. Diddy where he sampled Led Zeppelin's.
And you know what the worst part about that song is? Jimmy Page signed off on it.
Jimmy Page actually played guitar on it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the worst part.
At any rate.
Next
trailer. Clone Wars.
Dope into it,
yeah.
Let's do it.
Loved the TV show, though I will partially admit that not partially, totally admit that I liked Rebels better as a whole, but there's no...
See, you watched Rebels. I didn't watch... I mean, I don't want to say that I didn't watch Rebels. I watched a few episodes of Rebels, but it felt like overall, like, Rebels was very inaccessible to me. Like, it was never on Hulu. It was never on Netflix.
It was on XD.
Okay, I don't have that, and I'm not gonna.
Do you have your parents' cable password?
They don't pay for that.
You get XD's a standard. Yeah, it is. Yeah, whatever.
I tried to sign in because I wanted to watch Rebels, and I don't get that.
Okay.
So like, it felt very inaccessible to me. Like, as much as I wanted to watch Rebels, I just like couldn't. And it also felt to me like Clone Wars. Like, okay, so I have this like, it's kind of about like anime in general, and it also kind of goes back to Godzilla, because you know how Netflix has been doing like those animated Godzilla.
I only watched the first episode of that Godzilla series.
Yeah, it's terrible. So I've got like this thing, and it's like a very classic anime trope where like they decide to put a kid in charge for no reason. Like,
oh, you mean like in Pokemon?
Yeah, okay, pretty much. Like, take whatever anime you want, and there's like, you know, like generals who have been in charge for like 20 years or whatever, and there's like a 17-year-old kid, and they're like, you should come up with a plan of attack. And it's like, why? Why are you giving him all of the... Like, why does he get to make the decision? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, in no way in the real world does that happen. Which was kind of my beef with Rebels, where, like, it made sense with, like, Anakin and Obi-Wan and even... What's her name?
Ahsoka Tano.
Thank you. That, like, made the plans. It was like, okay, they're Jedi. They've got training.
Right.
Like, this makes sense. I kind of understand
Well, the whole point is Kanan Jarrus, who is the adult Jedi, he's training Ezra.
Got it.
That's what the whole premise is, and he's trying to do it in secret while also trying to mount this underground counterattack.
Yeah, I just don't understand why that kid was like making up all the plans, though.
Because by the end of the series, it's complicated. Like, for starters, they're on a planet that he's familiar with. So he's like the native that's helping the rebels out and all that good fun stuff.
Yeah, but like I said, it's like one of those things that like I don't understand why it's just such a common trope that it just bugs me.
It's for the kids. It's for the sake of the kids.
I understand, but it just doesn't make any goddamn logical sense.
Of course, because we're adults.
Right.
We need to find reason behind everything.
Right. Anyways, Clone Wars is dope. I'm into it. It looks like it's like
it looks like it's going to tie into Rebels because spoilers. That whole thing at the end where they show a much older Ahsoka with what I'm pretty sure is Sabine Wren, who didn't make her debut until Rebels.
Is it a spoiler? It's a trailer.
True.
Not really.
If you haven't seen the trailer, then it's a spoiler.
Well, then fuck you. The trailer is like 2 minutes long.
I know, right?
And it's free on YouTube. Like,
yeah, right.
No, fuck you.
Free on YouTube.
Yeah. I'm sorry, audience.
Yeah. No, we're not.
No, I mean, and it also looks like it ties like pretty much directly into
the movies.
The third one.
Which
Smith.
Revenge of the Sith?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, which, I mean, a lot of people... You know what, and here's the thing, too, and this is part of the reason why Solo didn't do so well at the box office, and I kind of understand this argument, but at the same time, screw you if you're one of these people, and I'm sorry to say it, but, like, basically my thing is, like, a lot of people didn't like the last Star Wars movie because there were too many Easter eggs and references to the expanded universe. That people didn't pick up on, which I get, and I understand that, and yeah, I do agree that the movies should, although possibly tie in or make references to the expanded universe, you still need to treat them like they're their own thing, to an extent, because there's a bunch of people. I mean,
I agree, but I fundamentally agree, because it definitely funnels your audience.
Yeah,
like there's not as many people that you reach and that appreciate it. But you are kind of doing it for the fans.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I'm of two minds
thing.
about it. I'm very Harvey Dent.
Exactly. Two-Face. You gotta flip a coin for it.
I don't have a coin. I left one in the car.
Yeah, whatever.
I'll find it.
So we got that trailer out of the way.
I'm gonna watch it. Whatever.
I'm totally gonna watch it. I'll eat
the Clone Wars. Since it's been on Netflix, is probably like my favorite just background TV. Like, I just sit and, like, get work done or, like, clean up around the house.
I always skip the Padme and Jar Jar episodes, though.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Even if I am just, like, working around the house and not paying attention to it, and I look up, I see Jar Jar, I'm like, next. Skip
Yeah,
that.
for me, it's always been, I actually am of the mindset that Padme is the worst Star Wars character, not Jar Jar.
I kind of agree with that. I feel bad agreeing with that because I like Natalie Portman.
No, I like Natalie Portman too. She's a phenomenal actress, but I'm just talking about in terms of the way she's written. And look, the bottom line is
she died of sadness.
She died of sadness. Which, can we be real here? Like, I mean, I know people give flack to The Last Jedi for that whole space chase sequence Which, yeah, okay, that was pretty weak. Everything that happened with the ships, I meant, was pretty weak. I defend The Last Jedi, except for everything that happened on the spaceships. Everything with the Poe and the not telling him the plan and everything like that. That I don't agree with. And the whole, why can't you just make your evil cruisers, go faster than the good guy cruisers? You can't just light speed to be 10 feet ahead of them.
So you and I never had like a podcast conversation about The Last Jedi, but I actually rewatched The Last Jedi since it became available on Netflix, and I have to say there is some credence to the point that, like, why didn't you just tell people the plan? Mm-hmm. Because you kind of owe it to everybody on the ship.
And it's also military. It's also a military order. Like, if people don't know the plan, how or why are they supposed to know what the fuck they're doing?
Right, and it's, I mean, even more than that, there's like less than 200 people left on all the combined starships, and like they're all freaking the hell out. And it's pretty easy to come up over the intercom and just be like, "Hey guys, just so you know, we're going to another outpost base." Like, at that point, no one's going to reveal that to the Empire. Like, they are literally shooting them as they're running.
Right.
Like, now's not the time to be a spy or a turncoat. Anyways, so, yeah, Clone Wars, gonna watch it. Put a stamp on it.
Yeah, me too. And then the next one is probably the more anticipated of the shows, Titans.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like the DC television series has just screwed itself in so many different ways. And they keep trying to, like, throw things out and see if it sticks.
Okay, you want to know what my honest-to-God take on this whole Titans series is going to be?
Fuck Batman?
Besides fuck Batman. Well, it's because of fuck Batman. It just had this look and this feel that felt just like the Arrowverse. And we know this TV show isn't going to take place in the Arrowverse because DC really loves to do the multiverse thing, and it confuses everyone.
How many Harrison Wells are there?
The point I'm trying to get at is it just looked like the Arrowverse. It was still going to have that very teen drama-y feel to it.
Yeah.
But they were going to swear.
Right.
That's about the only difference.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not really looking forward to it. Plus, for some reason, I don't know what it is, but in the movie, in the trailer, there's the line where Robin says, "Fuck Batman," because somebody's like, "Hey, it's Robin, where's Batman?" And he's like, "Fuck Batman." And here's my thing about that. It called me weird, and I understand that it's Dick Grayson throughout, no matter whether it's Robin or Nightwing. But for some reason, I don't like Robin saying that line. I'd be more okay with it if he were wearing the Nightwing outfit saying that line.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just would.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. It feels like a betrayal.
Yeah, exactly.
Golly gee willikers, go fuck yourself, Batman.
Exactly.
Yeah, it just feels weird. Like, imagine if Burt Ward delivered that line. Like, that's not very nice, old chum.
Oh, I got an idea for a sketch now. At any rate. But I'm not saying it so nobody takes it.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, it feels to me like the equivalent of, like, Inhumans. Where, like, I saw the trailer and just went, huh.
Or Cloak and Dagger.
Oh, God.
Which, by the way, I saw the first 2 episodes of Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah?
I'm all set.
Yeah, I bet you are.
I'm all set.
I bet you are.
You want to know why? Because I'm an adult, and I'm between everything that happens in the Arrowverse, which I don't know why I still torture myself. Maybe it's because I'm a masochist. Yeah, no, I'm all set. I'm totally good with it.
I still find myself like tiptoeing back into like Legends of Tomorrow and The Flash, and season 4 is just such a nightmare.
Okay, Legends of Tomorrow is the best show in the Arrowverse.
Which is so weird because you wouldn't think that it would be.
No, they've already announced too that next season for the big crossover event, the Legends aren't going to be part of it. To which I tweeted earlier to another guy who does video reviews of the Arrowverse, DJ Eric, I believe his name is, or something like that. I basically said that's like going into the World Series and not having your best hitter.
Right.
Yeah. Or going to the Super Bowl and your quarterback's injured, or other sports analogy.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
Going bowling and forgetting your shoes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because they don't have them at bowling alleys.
Well, not if you're going to be a professional bowler.
No, you need your own shoes.
You need your own shoes.
Yeah, you do.
Besides, French's shoes are gross. This is what keeps me from bowling. That's not the only thing that keeps me from bowling, but it keeps me from bowling.
Your lack of talent?
I would say that's a bigger thing.
Exactly. All right. So we're done. So just summing up real quick. The Meg looks dumb.
Still going to see it.
Clone Wars looks awesome. Going to sit down and watch every episode.
Definitely going to watch it.
Yep. And Titans,
Might check out
I'll check out the pilot.
See, I have a thing. Sometimes I like to skip the pilot and go into episode 2. And that's my thing. It's a very personal thing because I always feel like, especially for TV shows like this, like Arrow or The Flash or Legends of Tomorrow, I feel like the first episode is just so much like set up that like the second and third episodes are where we really start going.
Right, but
so
I kind of need to know what the premise of everything is. And I know they'll sum it up pretty quickly in the second episode. I can catch it up.
There's usually enough exposition in like the second and third episodes because they know people are doing the exact same thing that I'm doing. Yeah. They're like, oh, someone told me that like the show was pretty good. Maybe I should tune in and check it out. So there's usually enough like
overlap
and like exposition that like I can follow.
Okay, all right. So yeah, that's gonna do it for us. So now, moving on to our main topic. Dan, has there ever been a comic book character or a video game character or a...
Literary character?
Literary character. I was going to say novel, but that's a better word.
Thank you.
Character that you've always wanted to see in the movies or at least on TV?
You know what, Kyle? There has been. And in fact, I've had a few.
Well, right now, we want to talk about some of our ideas of... potential ideas of what they could do with certain characters or certain other IPs and how they could adapt it to the small screen. This isn't a list, shockingly.
It's just more of a round table of ideas.
Well, this is more of a line.
True.
A line table of discussion.
So we would need a third person at least for...
A triangle.
And
I think a fourth person would make a square.
Right.
Or a rectangle. Is it all squares or rectangles or all rectangle squares?
It depends on the set.
There's something to do with geometry. There's a law. There's a law in geometry that
we need like a dodecahedron table.
Dodecahedron?
Yeah.
How many sides is that again?
That's the 12-sided die.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Dungeons and Dragons.
Nerd.
What? I've never played Dungeons and Dragons, but I would love to play Dungeons and Dragons.
I've played Dungeons and Dragons once, but it wasn't real Dungeons and Dragons.
Nerd.
Right. And it was only once. At any rate. So
and only by myself.
So we could just kick this off. I'd say what we could do for this one, or what we're going to do for this one, is we'll just name the intellectual property as a whole or the character, and and we could just roundtable ideas of what we think this project would look like. And Hollywood, if you come up with any of the ideas, you heard it here first. I demand a cut. We demand a cut.
Good fucking luck.
Right. At least put the credit. At least put my name in the title credits. Okay.
Yeah, good luck.
Right.
I mean, so I actually just...
Oh, and for the record, we're not counting it if they've already had an animated adaptation. We're talking a live-action adaptation.
Right, so either movie or television.
Movie or television, exactly.
Right. So the biggest one for me, and I actually just finished replaying this game the other day, and I was sitting there thinking to myself, I said, why have we never gotten a live-action version of this? It's a property that's been around for almost 30 years. Wolfenstein. William Blazkowicz.
I mean, can we be real here? In this day and age, we need more, Nazis getting
killing
blown
Nazis.
Up. Exactly.
What the hell?
Exactly.
Especially killing weird robot cyborg Frankenstein werewolf vampire zombies.
Nazis. They could be zombie
Nazis. They are zombie Nazis.
Yeah,
a lot of them are.
Yeah, talk to Call of Duty, yeah.
Yeah, no, not even Call of Duty, but even inside of Wolfenstein, they do the weird kind of Frankenstein. I mean, Frankenstein is technically a zombie.
He's basically a zombie.
He's
Nazi zombies.
Yeah.
That's just so overused.
No, I mean, Terror Billy going around, starting up the resistance, killing Nazis. I think it's a perfect property to be adapted to the. I mean, it would be a great show, and we've had some things that are similar. Man in the High Castle is definitely the more straight-laced version of that. So that one, I mean, it's based off a Philip K. Dick novel where the Nazis win, and there's a resistance group that's trying to, but we lose that whole kind of horror element side of things. And we've got a couple of movies that have come out, like The Devil's Rock, which is an indie horror film, and Frankenstein's Army, that's another indie horror film, and actually J.J. Abrams just released a trailer for Overlord.
I didn't see that. I saw parts of that trailer.
It's kind of just Frankenstein meets zombies and...
Nazis.
I keep saying zombies. The 1,000-Year Reich needs 1,000-year soldiers. So they make Frankenstein vampire. But what the hell? That would be who wouldn't watch that?
I'd probably watch it.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing about gratuitous violence is you can watch that guilt-free.
Exactly.
You'd be well, it is bloody and gory, but they're killing Nazis, and
it's Nazis.
I think it's good for little Billy to watch it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I went straight Bill Clinton on that. But even he would have to agree.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Now that was kind of Obama.
That was kind of Obama.
Let me be clear.
Let me be clear.
Well, if we're going the video game route, I would actually say, I mean, they already tried Doom. That didn't work out so well.
Okay, Doom could use another one, but the problem with Doom is that Doom guy doesn't talk.
Exactly.
Right.
Which is a similar problem, which might be with this one, but I was going to say maybe Metroid, actually.
Oh, cool.
I think Metroid could, I mean,
Yeah.
they did. I know they did try doing Other M, and I know a lot of people don't like it because Samus sound like a whiny brat and everything like that. At least that's some of the criticism I've heard.
I've never seen it.
Neither have I, but like I never played it. But one of my friends actually pointed out a very good point, brought up something about that, and he defends the game in the sense that people are saying, oh, like Samus was like whiny and crying during this one scene, and he goes, yeah, dude, she's watching her friends get slaughtered. And this is like her first mission.
Well, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. Like, I think it's fair for somebody to be a little in distress. Like,
Yeah, a little emotional.
yeah, exactly. I mean, like, here's the other thing, too, about Samus that separates, like, because, like, when Metroid Prime came out, it was around the same time that Halo came out. You know, like, both games were first-person shooters that were revolutionary in their own field in certain regards and
Wait,
respects.
Metroid Prime is super old, like Super NES.
No, Metroid Prime. That was the one that came out for GameCube.
Oh.
The original Metroid, yes, that came out for NES.
Metroid Prime. Okay, I see
Yeah,
what you
yeah.
mean.
So it was kind of like both that game and Halo came out. I remember people trying to compare them, saying like Master Chief and Samus, blah 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 blah. I'm like, here's the difference though. Like, I know Samus might have some like cybernetic alterations to her, but from what I understand, that only happened to her after it was like some sort of massive injury, and she wasn't stripped of her humanity. Master Chief was totally stripped of his humanity. So the fact that he's like he's totally emotional.
He's totally Stockholm.
Yeah, exactly. So
100%.
Yeah, so like when you see certain things in like some of the comic books or some of the other expanded universe, which if we want to talk about like expanded universe for one of my favorite franchises that I'm very cold, very lukewarm about, it's the Halo franchise. You see things where he's just like snapping necks, ripping spines out with skulls, and he's just like, all right, next. Like,
Yeah.
like no emotion whatsoever behind it.
It
Like,
gets weird.
It gets kind of weird, like, because that's what he's just been bred to do. He's just, whereas Samus, like, yeah, she's a bounty hunter, but she's not devoid of emotion, and I think that could be something that could really add some depth to the character, almost. You know what I mean? And sure, why not? While we're at it, why don't we also make that Halo movie that everybody's been begging for a while?
See, I kind of don't want a Halo movie.
I'm a bigger fan than you are, and I'm with you on that one, believe it or not.
Yeah, I kind of don't want a Halo movie.
Just because in a similar sense to what you said about Doom Guy, like, Master Chief doesn't exactly have that much of a personality.
No.
Here's the thing, though. Like, I've seen other things. Like, there's, like, a couple of animated movies on Netflix.
Yeah,
and
there's
stuff
Halo Nightfall.
Exactly.
Which was, like,
Here's the thing. It's like, whenever they have
decent at best.
whenever they have the Master Chief, he always works better with, like, a really good supporting cast.
Right. And he's best not as the main character.
For the most part, yeah.
He's like great as a supporting character.
Which is weird because he's the main character of the video game.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, but like it's also weird too because the point of the Master Chief was he was supposed to be much more of a blank slate.
Yeah.
So that way the character could really immerse himself in him.
Yeah. See, I think like my
I think something within the Halo universe.
I'm really worried that U-Bowl is listening to this podcast right now.
I don't think Microsoft will let U-Bowl touch it. I think they're smart enough to do that. But like, I think it's kind of like we're going along the lines of like, I'd rather see a movie that takes place in the Halo universe that doesn't necessarily have to be heavy on Master Chief.
Right, because the whole expanded universe thing worked out so well for Star Wars.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
You know what? Along the lines of first-person shooters, and we talked about this a little bit. BioShock Infinite.
I think that would make at least that concept of going to... Like,
I think that concept is super strong, and I think that would make a really great...
The idea that some people escaped America, quote-unquote, escaped America to a literal city in the clouds.
Or undersea.
Or undersea, and they worship the Founding Fathers as though they were gods.
Right, or that weird cult leader dude from the first two BioShocks.
I never played the second BioShock, honestly.
It's pretty much the same as the first.
That's kind of what I heard.
Just like better mechanics, a little bit more weaponry, upgrades were different. I think that was the one where they introduced the little sister.
No, the little sister was in the first one.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I played 1 and 2.
I think
3 I still have, and 3 I fire up every now and again because it's a fun ass game.
I'm actually been highly considering about buying the BioShock trilogy. That would be worth it.
Did they remaster it?
Yes.
Oh,
they remastered
okay.
They remastered all 3 of the games.
Okay. Yeah, all right, I can see that.
Yep.
No, they're fun as hell. Yeah, I mean, Booker DeWitt, that would be fun as hell. And I think that you could have like
because he was a character that had actual personality.
He did have actual personality. He was a very like flawed character. And
an incredibly flawed character.
He had like a cool backstory, or I would say cool, but like interesting backstory.
Bring us the girl, erase the debt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think that would be fun. I think that would be a super cool like movie.
The way that game ends, though, it's kind of weird because like I've seen the whole multiverse thread end in a very similar fashion. But whatever, like,
yeah,
there's only so many ways you can take that angle.
No, I know.
Which is kind of ironic because it's supposed to be an infinite possibilities pool.
And it all ends up the same way.
Yeah, exactly. Like that was really funny because it's really funny when you think about it, though. Like I know we're gonna get off topic, but the funniest thing about the first BioShock game is everything you do will affect the ending somehow. But I'm pretty sure in 3, nothing has any effect whatsoever on the way the game
you
ends.
all end up at the same place.
You always end up dying at the end.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think there is I'm pretty sure, I have to double check, there is some way to unlock like another ending to it.
But you got to do something very specific at a very point
or you have
time.
to like collect everything in like everything. It's one of those like I hate that. Yeah. Sidebar on video games, like
I've talked about this last week.
The penultimate ending for things like Batman is
Arkham Knight.
I
didn't bother.
Holy shit!
Collect all the Riddler trophies. I'm like,
Good
I'm not.
God, there's like 392 of them or something like that. You're like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna YouTube this real fast.
That's what I did. Yeah, that's what I did. And like honestly, like, and I talked about this with my friend Tom on last week's podcast. Is the fact that that's why I liked Doom so much. Is like, and it's not that I totally hate this idea. I get why you do it because now we live in such an era where everything's being so geared towards multiplayer that you need to do something to pad out campaigns in order to make it worth people's money. I get that, but I just long for the good old-fashioned days of go forward, grab gun, kill whatever's in front of you. Yeah. Like, that's all I want to do sometimes.
I mean, it's one thing... So, like, on longer campaign modes for single-player games, like, I feel like Doom and the last Wolfenstein, this is where they diverged and where I think they could come together. Like, Doom had absolutely no storyline whatsoever. Like, even it was very clear that even like the main character,
it did, but it was a very basic storyline.
Even the main character like didn't give a shit.
Right, exactly.
And it was clear.
And that opening scene where he takes a tablet and they're just like, so here's what happened, and he just snaps it in half.
He doesn't care.
Yeah.
Right? And then but like that game goes on forever.
Right.
And like it's super satisfying and it never feels repetitive. And like you always feel like there's something new like right around the corner. Like just when you think you've seen it all, you're like bam, new enemy, or bam, new level, new layout, new challenge that you have to overachieve. And it's super fun and it makes that game like super replayable, right?
Right.
Awesome. Also on the other side, Bethesda Studio, was Wolfenstein. Great story, right? Super short video game. Like I think Doom is like depending on how fast you play and if you
I never played it through on normal, so
right,
but I'm sure if you played it on the hardest difficulty, it would take like a year and a half.
Like for me, using like the same like medium high setting, like Doom took me about I think it was like 12 hours to complete.
That sounds about
like
right.
It was about 12 hours. Wolfenstein was like 7.5.
Yeah,
they're both $60 games. Like, you gotta find a way to, like, reconcile between the two.
Like, that's the one thing, at least when Bungie was in control. We can talk about what 343 Studios has been doing with it since, but that's the one thing I always loved about Bungie's run with Halo is the fact that, yeah, sure, maybe even on the hardest difficulty, you could beat the regular campaign on, like, maybe 10 or 11 hours. Which is still kind of lengthy of its own, but and there were things to collect in the game, but they didn't have that great of an impact. They weren't, like, meant for upgrading or anything like that. They were just meant for, like... The only thing that you really wanted to, quote-unquote, wanted to collect in Halo were these skull things, and all they would do is actually they would add, like, a different perk to the game, like, oh, enemies are now even harder to kill, or everyone's favorite, the Grunt Birthday Party, which is if you actually killed the Grunt with a headshot, confetti would come out of them.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, so, like, there's always that kind of stuff. There's always that kind of stuff, but, like...
And I feel like Santa Monica Studios did a really good job on God of War. Like the latest God of War, where it felt like the perfect balance.
That would actually be a good game to turn into a TV or a movie.
I think TV would be good for God of War.
Yeah, it would actually, like a Game of Thrones.
But it would need a substantial budget because one thing about God of War is the scale is just huge.
It would need the Game of Thrones budget or this Netflix Lord of the Rings budget.
Amazon.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
would
But God of War would be great. Like, even God of War, not this most recent one, because I think it would be a little weird to have the Roman god and Norse mythology kind of thing.
At least right from the bat.
You'd have to start, like,
You'd have to
way
build
back.
your way to it.
Yeah, you'd have to start
That'd
way
be
back.
season 5.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd have to start way back in the past. But yeah, I think that would be a great property to adapt into a video game.
Yeah, no, God of War would be great. And I even think Gears of War would be a good one to turn into.
I loved the first 2 Gears of War storyline. I never played 3.
3 was the best in my humble opinion.
And
for a similar thing that
since I no longer have an Xbox,
4 was fun. 4 gets its flack, but I liked it.
I'm sure it was. I haven't played, so I'm not in a position to judge. I know I really enjoyed the first 2, and I just know that they were like.
I liked it. Here's the thing about the 4th.
I love that it felt like a really strong. It was a really strong co-op game.
It really is. The 4th one is too. Like I can't play the 4th one on the hardest. You can't play those games on the hardest difficulty by yourself. You need a partner. Period. Yeah. But the one thing here's the thing though about the 4th one that I liked better than the original trilogy altogether was the characters felt a little bit more fleshed out. Mm-hmm. Whereas in the first 3, don't get me wrong, everyone likes Dom and Marcus. Like, they're the hey bros. They like taking their chainsaw guns and cutting up bad guys and things like that. But they were very cookie cutter.
They're super 2-dimensional.
They're super like 2-dimensional. They're kind of 1-dimensional. Here's the way the games break down. It's like the first 3 games, it's just really all Marcus I just get out of prison and I hate authority. Meh. Give me a gun. I'm gonna kill some locusts. Meh. Whereas Dom is all meh. My wife and kids. Meh. That's it throughout all 3 of the games for the both of them. And Dan's now crushing his Gansett beer.
Like Quint. I was done with it.
Yeah, exactly.
I do it every time.
Exactly. So yeah, I think Gears of War personally versus God of War, I think Gears of War would do better for the movies just because the plot and like I just said, the plot and the characters aren't exactly the deepest.
So speaking of plot and characters that aren't speaking of characters that aren't deep, but plot that is, Dark Souls.
Never played any of the Dark Souls games for more than 10 minutes, and it was the most excruciating 10 minutes of my life as a gamer.
You died?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, that's what happens. You got to power through that, bud. You got to power through that.
I don't know.
You get better.
I think part of it is because I don't know how deep those plots are in those games. But
it's funny because those games are like like Doom. If you don't want to know the plot, you don't have to. No one's gonna waste your time.
Right.
Like if you want to learn the plot, like you read the item descriptions, you talk to people in the world, like you watch all the cutscenes, and like you kind of have to like piece together the story yourself. But like the story and the lore inside of Dark Souls is actually super deep and super interesting. I'm not going to get into it, mostly because I completely don't understand it. But It is super dope. Same thing with Bloodborne, and like both of those properties are like super awesome, fantastic like storytelling, but only if you care. Like if you don't care and you just want to speedrun it, like that's cool. Like people speedrun the Dark Souls games in like 46 minutes. But you can also play Dark Souls for like 8 hours or longer, like depending on how you want to play. You can just like run around naked with a club and just kill everything.
Sounds sexy. Yeah. Sounds absolutely sexy.
I think Dark Souls would make a good TV show.
Possibly, yeah. I could see that working out.
Yeah.
So moving over, I guess, a little bit into one of our more favorite things to talk about, comic book characters. I think you and I are both in agreement, and you're a bigger fan of this character than I am, but I think Moon Knight needs to get in on the Netflix game.
I think Moon Knight needs to get into Mark Spector needs a show.
Yeah.
Because who does not like bipolar superheroes?
Right.
Tripolar? Multiple
personality disorder. Yeah.
He's got a few bacon around in there.
Exactly.
Yeah, that dude did a little.
I just like the idea of a Batman who's also even darker than Batman.
It's funny. I was actually reading some Moon Knight comics the other day because they just hosted them on Comixology, and like there's a scene, and it takes place in the middle of Civil War during the comic book run where Cap comes to visit Mark Spector like right in the middle of Civil War, and it's right in the middle of Civil War where like heroes are like choosing side, like are they going to be pro-registration?
Is Goliath dead at this point?
No, not even. So it's before that, and like before like the big battle, and like Captain America like shows up and tells pretty much tells Mark Spector, Moon Knight, that he's like, I better not like find out that you signed with Tony. And like Moon Knight is like, well, like whatever, like you don't have to worry about it, like I'm not gonna blah 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 whatever. And like Cap's like, no, like you don't understand, like I don't want you signing on with Tony, but I also do not want you on my team. And like pretty much Captain America is just telling this dude that's like,
stay out of it,
like straight up, dude, you're a fucking loon.
Right.
Like if Captain America has to pay you a personal visit to tell you that you are too far gone, like that's the kind of superhero I want to see in a show.
What was the line that they said in Avengers versus X-Men? Hey, Scott, yeah, you have a visitor, and it's just Cap standing right at the beach. And I'm pretty sure I can't remember whether or not, I think he had his shield in hand.
Oh yeah,
like he knew shit was about to go, could have, and did go down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't get a visit from Captain America on polite terms. He never just pops in to say.
No, he's kind of like Batman in that regards.
Yeah.
Only like the only difference
I'm
is
the goddamn Batman.
The only difference is Steve Rogers will knock. Batman will interrupt your shower.
Right. As
pointed out in Justice League when he did it to Amanda Waller that one time.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was a great scene too, where he just disappears on her like he always does.
Yeah, I definitely think Moon Knight.
I think the best way to do Moon Knight would definitely be something similar to what they did with the Punisher and kind of give him a backdoor pilot kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I think it would be much better to do it that way. I don't think I'd want him to go up against Daredevil, but at the same time, I think Daredevil would be the best character.
I think he fits in better. I mean, I feel like he almost fits in well for like Jessica Jones.
Kinda, yeah, because like she always deals with the deranged.
He doesn't work with Luke Cage or Iron Fist. I feel like it would be a little ham-fisted after the Punisher to do Moon Knight.
And I don't think he would go up against the Punisher because the Punisher would just be like, "Oh, you're killing bad guys too? Awesome, we're best friends."
Right.
Like,
yeah, that or just put a bullet in his head.
One of the two. Probably say, "Hey, I admire your work," and bang.
Right.
Yeah.
It's one of the two. I feel like Jessica Jones would be
probably the best call at this point.
The only thing about Moon Knight that I say does not translate well on screen is his friggin' costume. His costume never made any sense to me at all. Like the dude wears all white.
Yeah, but the moon is white, so...
No, yeah, I get that, but it's just super impractical if you're a vigilante, like, you know...
Who stalks the night.
Stalks the night in, like, New York City, and you're dressed in all white.
I know, right?
It makes absolutely no sense.
Well, I mean, Robin always dressed in bright red, which I will forever love the Tiny Toons parody of that, where Plucky Duck was Bat Duck, and his sidekick's name was Bullseye.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's pretty much what it was. Like, yeah, gonna dress a kid in bright red while I'm in black and we're stalking through the shadows.
Yeah. I think Doctor Doom needs better. I think Doctor Doom deserves
we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it, yeah. And, I mean, we should save that for another list of characters that have been done dirty on movies.
I mean, Doctor Doom, Fantastic Four, although I really don't care about Fantastic Four.
No, but I am looking forward to the idea of seeing them in the MCU because
Namor.
No, I don't care for Namor.
Marvel versions of Aquaman who actually came first.
All right. Right. So I'm trying to think. There was one in the top I had that I would like to see. There's a boatload. What about on the DC side? Is there anybody you'd like to see on the DC side? Maybe the Question.
The Question would be cool, but the Question is just kind of a poor man's Batman.
He really is. Yeah, he is.
I think that
in fact, I would actually go as far as to say he's a poor man's Rorschach, and Rorschach was based off the Question.
Right.
Yeah.
And a little bit of Batman, but yeah, mostly the Question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you know, it's funny because at this point I feel like so many characters have already gotten. At this point, I feel like so many characters have already gotten like a decent like
representation
in some way somehow.
Except for Hawkeye. And it's not anything against Jeremy.
I like Jeremy Renner's
Hawkeye.
No,
I know. It's just people love to rag on Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye, which I don't. I mean, I get it. He hasn't had a lot to work with, but he's not a bad character.
You know, like Carnage. I want to see Carnage.
I totally want to see Carnage.
You know,
which we might get to see, but I mean, I'm not hopeful for this Venom movie.
You know, as we've had this conversation, I'm hopeful. You are not. That being said, as time has gone by, and I've seen more stills and footage and interviews, and it all looks like it's going downhill. Mm-hmm. It all looks like we're cruising right into like a 45% Rotten Tomato meter reading.
Right.
Yeah, it's just not.
Hope I'm wrong. Hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I always hope I'm wrong in these situations, but it's just for me. It's like, I know you're not a big fan of the character Spider-Man, but Spider-Man's kind of way too important to the backstory of Venom.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. I'm trying to think. Galactus definitely needs a better interpretation.
Same thing with Silver Surfer.
Mm-hmm. Silver Surfer does.
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk. Okay, you know what? Yes, I'm in total favor of She-Hulk.
I love She-Hulk.
Yeah, me too. The original
She-Hulk was the original Deadpool.
Right.
She-Hulk really was the original Deadpool.
In fact, I would actually go to argue that she was even funnier than Deadpool at certain points.
She was.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing, and I feel like with the Guardians of the Galaxy, we still haven't gotten like Nova yet, like the full
Nova, like Rich Rider.
Yeah, like
or Sam Alexander, or whoever.
Yeah, who is actually his brother.
Sam Alexander, I thought he was like the newest one.
Who's actually his brother?
He's actually Rich Rider's brother?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's weird.
Oh my god, like... this is why I don't make fun of soap operas anymore.
Yeah, I know. It's really hard to make fun of soap operas. Yeah. Especially when you start to get into this. Yeah, I think Nova, She-Hulk would be a good one to get...
I think She-Hulk would actually make a good replacement when Mark Ruffalo decides to step down. In a weird way.
I mean, we got a fleet of X-Men.
Those are coming, but those don't count because we've already had them. In fact, we've already talked about characters that have had the treatment yet deserve better.
Ghost Rider,
I don't care what you say. They did a good job on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but you hate that show, so it doesn't
I don't
matter.
hate that show. I just think that, like, it's like, oh, well, no, there's an interplanetary problem. Who are we going to call? Like, is Iron Man available? It's like, oh, he's picking up his laundry. Like, what about Thor? It's like, well, the Rainbow Bridge is still broken.
Yeah,
what happened to Captain America? He's on the run. Like,
yeah, I get it. There's issues with it, and I understand them. It's not that I don't ignore them, but, it's whatever. Well, we're getting the Teen Titans.
Ugh.
Yeah, which we've just discussed. We're not too thrilled about that one. I'm trying to think. There's got to be a few others that we.
I think we need a new Mortal Kombat movie.
That's been rumored to happen in the works for a while. And I'm simply saying, in the wake of Deadpool and Logan, that movie better be rated R.
Oh yeah,
it has to be at this point.
Is the first one rated
Nope,
R?
PG-13.
Really?
Both of them are PG-13.
No way.
Which is stupid.
I'm looking it up.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna look it up.
Which, the saddest thing is, it's been 25 years, and I still say that Mortal Kombat is the best video game to movie adaptation, and it's not exactly great.
I love that movie.
Oh, I do too. Your brother's soul is mine. You will be next. Defeat Sub-Zero with ice, which, I don't know, that just sounds kind of stupid to me. Defeating Sub-Zero with ice.
I mean, he made it work.
It made it work, but at the same time...
I'm just looking up, like, how many... Like, we've had so many weird video game movies over the year. Like, we had a Max Payne movie with Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, you don't remember that one?
No.
It was awful. It wasn't very good. I never played Max Payne.
Tron.
Well, Tron was its own thing first.
Yeah.
Tron was a movie...
Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, from what I understand, you know what Ratchet and Clank was? It was just all the cutscenes from the video game that came out at the same time.
Oh, that's funny.
That's more or less what it was, at least from what I understand.
House of the Dead.
And let's not forget everyone's favorite, the Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, the Super Mario Brothers.
What's your name? Mario. Last name? Mario. What's your name? Luigi. Last name? Mario. So it's Mario, and Luigi. That's such a stupid, there are, what, 300 different Italian family names?
I don't know, man. I don't know what to say.
Of course, my favorite running gag throughout Mario, I don't jump. What do you mean you don't jump, Mario? That is literally the only thing you do throughout the video games, is you jump.
Yeah.
That is the number one thing you do.
Maybe Tekken? Maybe we should get a Tekken movie?
We've gotten a Tekken movie.
Live action?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How was that?
Yeah,
I believe that.
I mean...
Have we gotten a Street Fighter movie?
Yes, we've gotten 2.
See, that's weird.
The first Street Fighter movie came out the exact same summer as the Mortal Kombat movie. It starred Jean-Claude Van Damme as Guile.
Oh, that's right.
As Guile.
That's
Why
right.
would you have Jean-Claude Van Damme, a Belgium actor?
We're getting a live-action Sonic movie.
I heard about that.
Jim Carrey's playing Dr. Robotnik.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, I don't know if it's live action, but,
It's going to have him in it.
It would be weird to see a live-action Sonic movie.
I could see them doing live-action Mario. I could see them doing live-action Mario because Mario's a human being.
Right.
Or
They
supposedly.
just have, like, an actual hedgehog.
Yeah,
It's like crawling along.
Quick side, they just get like a little hedgehog that they dyed blue. There are some... How would you feel if they put Kate Bishop into the movies?
The other Hawkeye?
The other Hawkeye.
Because there's Hawk Guy and there's Hawkeye.
Hawk Guy.
There's Hawk Guy.
And Clinton is Hawk Guy, right?
And there's Hawk Guy and there's Hawk Girl. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's fine. It's just confusing. It's even confusing in the comic books, figuring out like who's like a comic who's Hawkeye and who's not. So
Yeah.
like
Meh.
Bishop. I'd like to see Bishop.
He was in a movie
Yeah, and
for like 2 minutes
and died.
and died. Exactly. No. Blade needs to make a comeback.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate.
That is the greatest line.
That is great. Look, I say that all the time,
Right?
and people always look at me and they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
You know what, though? If they do make another Mario movie, maybe they should throw Yoshi into it.
Wasn't Yoshi in the first one?
Nope.
Oh.
Not officially. There's got to be some other characters that we'd like to see in the movies.
I'm sure there is, but I'm drawing a blank at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't really matter. We're kind of coming towards the end at this point anyway, but...
Well, if you're still listening, I hope you have ideas.
Yeah, exactly. Comment and like, share, and subscribe below. You won't do it, though. Nobody does. I'm sad and I'm lonely. And I have no friends. I would have to say... Oh, Jesus. You know what? Maybe Fallout.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate on.
Fallout, I think, actually could make... for at least for the backdrop. I know we've done the whole post-apocalyptic thing before, but... Power armor, dude. Power armor.
Yeah, I guess Fallout could work, but if you're gonna do Fallout, then fuck it, give me a Skyrim movie.
I think... Okay, here's the funny thing. I think Skyrim could work for a movie, but I think Fallout could work better for a TV.
I actually kind of felt the opposite. But
Really?
I think they could both be TV, because I think both of them... I mean, just given how long those fucking games are... It's a common phrase at this point, but, like, Skyrim is the best game that I never finished.
Right.
Like, I totally dumped, like, a full, 45 goddamn hours into Skyrim.
And you didn't even touch the
Given
surface.
that I bought Skyrim after, like, the DLCs were already released, so this was already, like, a year or 18 months after original release. I still have not finished that game. It comes up on my PlayStation when I, like...
I still haven't finished Fallout 4, though. That's the thing.
And
I
I'm
know
like-
that game's not anywhere near as big.
I did finish Fallout 4, and I think I probably put, like, close to 80 hours into Fallout. Like, I put a disgusting amount of time into Fallout 4. And, like... Yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of plot. See, you know what's funny about those games is that, like, the main plot of both of those games, both Skyrim and Fallout 4, I could give a shit about.
Right.
That's not why I play those games. Like, I pretty much only ever play the, like, plot line to, like, gain XP and to get, like, new shit.
And to blow things up.
Yeah, that too.
That too.
And because it gives me, like, more enemies to kill in, like, a controlled setting, and it makes it easier than having to go, like, raider camps. But it's funny, like, those plot lines, like, I don't really care about. But I think that, like, Skyrim is, like, such a big world, it's almost like Game of Thrones-esque. Like, if you're gonna give...
Right. Well,
you know,
I
like
mean,
a God of War kind of budget, or
they're
Lord of the
both
Rings.
they're both kind of similar.
Fantasy,
they're
dragon.
they're basically the same backdrop.
Anytime you start to involve dragons, you need big budget, because if not,
Exactly.
your dragons look like shit.
Exactly.
You end up with a movie that looks like Dragonheart with Sean Connery.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are many people that would disagree with you on that one, but yeah.
Why? You think that's a good movie?
I mean, I haven't seen it in years. So.
It's not a good movie.
No, of course not. Because that was at the point.
Sean Connery plays a dragon.
I was gonna say that's the point when Sean Connery was at that point of his career where Robert De Niro is now. So
That movie was co-written by Cocaine.
co-written by Cocaine. Yeah. I am the last one.
I subscribe to like this like fake comic blog.
Right.
Like Twitter account. I can't remember the name of it, but like they had a great tweet the other day. It was like, "Did you know that that Marvel's 1990s Spider-Man clone saga was heavily influenced by the amount of cocaine that the writers were doing?" Which actually like makes a lot of sense.
I mean, I know too much of the backstory about why that saga was so bad, but yeah, that's up there. That's that's gonna be one of the reasons.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the other reason was the marketing, but which, by the way, please, Marvel Studios, don't touch that storyline.
I think there are some storylines that like would be fun to adapt. I mean, like Secret Invasion for sure.
Well, we're gonna get that, I think.
I think we're gonna get it to a certain degree. I don't think we're gonna get like the full-on Secret Invasion.
I think what's gonna happen is we're gonna get hints of the Secret Invasion in the Captain Marvel movie that's coming out next year, because they're gonna be setting up the lore of the Skrull-Kree War.
Good.
Which is like good, yeah. And what I think is gonna happen is they're gonna defeat Thanos, and then the Skrulls are gonna be like, "Hey, these bastards defeated the most powerful being in the universe. Maybe just maybe we might want to take them out because they might be a threat to us.
Right.
And let's do that from within." So I think that would be good. I'm not sure if we're gonna get the three-phase treatment like they did with Thanos, but at the same time, I wouldn't. It's a very 50-50 thing. Like, I wouldn't be surprised at lasting longer than a phase, like throughout Phase 4. But at the same time, I could definitely see something more along the lines of the Masters of Evil being like Avengers 5.
Meh.
You know what I mean? Like the Masters, because they already have Zemo, and Marvel looks like they're finally starting to pay attention to me. And
he did.
Yeah. Zemo?
Zemo dead.
No, Zemo's not dead.
Zemo dead.
No, Zemo got captured at the end of Civil War. He's in prison.
No, he did.
Zemo?
Zemo dead. Oh.
Is that what you're talking about?
Well, no, I thought you meant Baron von Strucker.
No, Strucker's dead.
Strucker's dead.
Strucker dead.
Yeah, Zemo alive.
Zemo dead.
You're right.
Zemo alive. Bleh. Whatever. The first guy's alive. The second guy's dead.
Strucker dead. Zemo alive.
There we go.
You're right. Yeah. I always forget because I always remember the scene where like he goes to shoot himself, and I always think that he actually does, but Black Panther actually grabs the gun.
He blocks the bullet. Actually.
Tomato.
Tomato.
He
Right.
blocks the thing. He grabs. The
he
thing
stops
that
him from
comes
killing
out.
himself.
Well, yeah, it's semantics. Okay.
It's semantics.
You're right.
Which, by the way, that is the dopest suit ever. The Black Panther suit, other than Stark's armor. Which, by the way, hold on, sidebar real quick. The one thing we neglected to talk about when we reviewed Infinity War was how they continue to impress me with the way Starks puts on his Sunday best.
True, but I also did not like Captain America's shield.
In that movie?
Yeah.
No, and like...
Did anybody?
No, of course not. You don't know why you didn't like Captain America's shields in that movie? Because they weren't his fucking shield. That's why.
It wasn't round.
No, it wasn't a Spartan shield.
If you just made it round, I would have been fine with it. I don't give a shit what design you put on top of it. Just make it round.
No, I mean, you could have done the Nomad design, which was... I don't even think he had the shield when he was Nomad, but at any rate.
No, he didn't. He just had like... He had like that weird 70s like super open collar showing a lot of chest. A lot of cleavage.
Again, one of my favorite lines from Luke Cage the first season was when he busts out of the prison and he has an open frayed suit with the tiara on. He's like, "You look like a damn fool." I'm like, "Thank you. Oh, thank you, God." Yeah, no, he had a cape.
Yeah, it's a lot of cleavage.
That is a lot of man cleavage. Mm-hmm. That is a lot. That is another.
I think it's still just called cleavage.
Well, I mean, come on. There's buns and man buns, cleavage and man cleavage. Come on.
I think. You know who would be cool to see on screen? U.S. Agent.
Wasn't he just basically like Captain America on crack?
He was like. He was pretty much just like the douchebag cop version of Captain America.
You know what? I could see in the movies. I could see Sam Wilson taking up the shield as Captain America, and then Bucky becoming U.S. Agent.
I hope not. God, I hope not. Because I hate U.S. Agent. Like, U.S. Agent is
You just said you wanted to see him on the screen.
No, yeah, but I respect Bucky Barnes too much for that.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I like Bucky a lot.
Fair enough.
But U.S. Agent... So, like, if Captain America... If we're equating to, like, them to police officer, like, Captain America is, like... the guy who sees motorists on the side of the road, like, stranded, and Captain America is the police officer that gets out and, like, changes the tire for them, right?
Right.
But, like, U.S. Agent is, like, the kind of cop that pulls you over for no reason and then takes his nightstick and then bludgeons in your brake light and arrests you.
Your tail lights out. I get it.
Pretty much.
I get it.
Pretty much.
I get it. There's got to be... Who's a character that I've always wanted to see on screen?
Wheelman?
No, not Wheelman.
Kite Man?
Stiltman.
Stiltman. Yeah, I actually would like to see.
Actually,
Stiltman.
you know what? We talked about him earlier. I think the Question could be an interesting one to put in like a smaller scale. Maybe not a movie. Maybe they could dump him in the Arrowverse. Who knows? We're getting a Batwoman next season, so.
Oh yeah, that's right. I never.
I mean, if it's one thing that I know some of my friends in the gay community are excited about is they're actually keeping her a full-on lesbian. So.
Wait, who?
Batwoman.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah, that's fine. I don't really care about that. My thing about having like a Batwoman is that like I don't care.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like that's just a comic book character that like I never liked.
That's a
It's
comic
just, like,
book.
I don't care.
That's a comic book character that was clearly created for the sake of copyright protection.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
Same thing goes for Spider-Woman, Batgirl, Batwoman.
But like the Joss Whedon Batgirl project is something that I'm excited for.
That got scrapped, I thought.
Oh really?
I thought it got scrapped.
Oh, bummer.
I could be wrong. I don't know. I mean, it could be wrong.
Stiltman, Frogman, the Leaper.
Leapfrog. What about the Human Top or Whirlwind?
Wasn't the Human Top in an episode of The Flash?
Human Top's a Marvel villain. And he became
I just meant the Top.
the Top. I think he was. I know the Tortoise was.
Oh god.
They actually did a good job with him. He had some sort of meta power where he slowed down everything around him, and like Barry couldn't get close enough without being slowed down to a crawl. No, that was actually a really good episode. You want to know why it was a good episode? It happened in the first season and a half.
We are the Flash.
Did you listen to my podcast review about the season with my friend Meg? I hated it. I hated it. Like
Iris.
Like it's just one of those things where like I get it and I'm not against the whole idea of women like being empowered and like being in front, but Jesus Christ.
Right. See, like there's a big difference that like
Like there was seriously one episode of The Flash where the running joke was #feminism. I'm like, okay, no.
Let's not do that, guys.
Let's not do that.
Let's not do that. Let's not okay.
Let's not do that at all. Like I get the whole girl power movement, but please try to be subtle about it. That's all I'm saying.
I don't care that it's I don't care if it's
Or
subtle. I
or
don't care
write
if it's
it better
subtle.
than that.
I don't care if it's subtle or overt. Just like write it in a way that just doesn't feel ham-fisted and terrible.
Right.
You know, like if you're gonna be over the top with girl power, like that's cool. I'm fine. Like
Yeah, I'm fine with it too. Like I'm totally okay with chicks who can kick ass. It's hot.
that wasn't sexist at all.
Totally undermined.
That's not the point, Kyle. Yeah, way to undermine the whole thing.
Totally. That's what comedy is.
Oh god. Yeah. No, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, sure.
Whatever. Sure. Here's my thing going back a second, though. If they were to do a Mortal Kombat, they could actually turn... If they did it right, they could actually make like a whole Mortal Kombat multiverse thing, or MCU type of thing. But it would have to be like one movie focuses on Liu Kang and the other movie focuses on...
Oh my god, you think I'm actually going to sit through a Kano movie?
Nope. No, because let's be real here. The only movie that anybody would sit through would be the Scorpion Sub-Zero movie. That's it. That's the only. Those are the only two characters.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I want to see two ninjas who hate each other's guts. One controls
We
hell.
already have so many Luke Cage movies. Or Johnny Cage movies.
Yeah.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah.
It's
Pretty much
all the kickboxer movies.
Yeah. Exactly. Or just any movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme in it. Period.
Yeah.
That's Johnny Cage.
Or any movie with the title Kick in it.
Yeah. And I mean, as far as like a Liu Kang movie,
Including
just watch a Bruce Lee
and,
movie.
Including kicking and screaming.
Exactly. I don't think I've seen that.
All right, so that's our show.
I mean, I can't think of much else.
I'm sure there's other characters.
Oh, there's a million other characters like we're not thinking of. I mean, I think, you know what the problem is? I think with this Ready Player One movie coming out, like, we've lost it.
I want a better Spawn movie.
Which is in the works. I'm trying to think. There's got to be at least one more character I would like to see. I mean, at the very least, you know what? Honestly, and I hear...
Plastic Man.
Plastic Man? We've gotten Plastic Man.
When?
He was on this season of The Flash.
Oh, that's right, he was.
Yeah. And he was just a Jim Carrey knockoff.
Yeah, he was.
You know what? Actually, I think he's slated to be the bad guy, but in case it's not confirmed, I would actually be down for Mysterio.
Yeah, he is slated to be the bad guy.
Okay.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh yeah, then
In
you
the
know.
next
Oh yeah,
Spider-Man
that's right. So you know what? I scrapped that then. It doesn't count anymore.
Yep. Doesn't count anymore. Hobgoblin.
Hobgoblin. I mean, he's just basically the Green Goblin, but yeah, sure, why not?
A little bit scarier.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. Which incarnation of the Hobgoblin, though?
Like,
Nick Kingsley or Ben Kingsley, whoever the big guy is, the main one is.
wasn't Ben, like, Sir Ben Kingsley?
Am I thinking of the actor?
Yeah.
Kingsley's his last name, though, right?
Yeah, I forget his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that guy. I don't know. I mean, there's been so many versions. I mean, wasn't Peter Parker the Hobgoblin for a hot minute?
Probably.
Yeah.
And I'm not counting he had to wear the costume for 5 minutes to bruise somebody.
Yeah,
that doesn't count.
No, that doesn't count. No. Yeah, I mean, the Shocker.
Actually, you know what? I'd be down for the Shocker. Just what? No, wait. We got the Shocker.
We got Elektra.
No, we got the Shocker. Shocker was actually the lieutenant in Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Kind of.
And I actually didn't mind it. I liked what they did in Spider-Man: Homecoming. Spoiler ahead to Dan. Everybody else I know has probably seen the movie.
seen it. I still haven't seen it. At this point, it's like a personal thing.
Long story short is they do a really good job of they set up 3 of the 3 villains. One's obviously they set up 4 villains. Who am I kidding? So they did a better job of in one movie setting up a Sinister Six movie than Sony tried to do in 2 movies.
Yeah, they're still trying to do the Black Cat and Silver Sable movie.
I'm not looking forward to that at all. And as much as I want to see Black Cat and Silver Sable on screen,
Yeah, that's just not a movie I give a shit about.
no. And for me, again, it's just Spider-Man is so deeply connected.
I mean, that definitely. I mean, the Venom one, like, Venom has carried a comic book long enough that you can get away. You could get away.
He's also a popular enough character.
You could get away with not having Spider-Man in a Venom film. Like, it's gonna be tough.
But it's
happen.
doable.
It could happen. But, like, Black Cat and Silver Sable, like... That's also kind of how I feel about, like, all these other, like, shows that dance around Batman. You know?
Well, no, that's the thing. That's why the Arrowverse is having Batwoman, is because, for whatever reason, even though DC said it was okay to use Superman, they don't want Batman in their movies, because they don't... in their TV shows, because they're...
When did they use Superman?
They used Superman for the beginning of last season on Supergirl for the first, 3 episodes.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, and it's really weird and it's really stupid and confusing because, so the basic breakdown was in Arrow the first 2 seasons they introduced Deathstroke, and Deathstroke was great. Deathstroke was probably my favorite villain on that entire series. They build him up for the first season so that way he becomes a really good villain for the second season. Then DC announced their whole extended universe thing. Their whole shared universe thing, and then after that they were like, yeah, we don't want there to be any kind of crossover or people getting confused, even though it's already confusing as all hell with
it's super confusing
with their multiverse thing. But basically they're just like, yeah, we don't want.
There's already 2 Flashes.
Yeah, but they're like, we want to minimize that. We want to minimize there being duplicates of characters, and it's been really annoying because they did that with Deathstroke. He disappeared for 3 seasons. Then he came back at some point in this previous season, and honestly, his storyline was shaping up to be one of the better aspects of it. And then all of a sudden, Justice League comes out. They show Deathstroke at the very end of the movie in the post-credits scene, and then DC's like, yeah, we're just going to cut that story. We can't show Deathstroke at all in Arrowverse anymore.
Man, they really screwed the pooch.
Yeah, and it really sucked because Deathstroke had the best scene of the entire season. And it's Deathstroke doing what Deathstroke does best.
Kill people with one eye?
Yes, that's exactly what it was. It was just him. He just busts into this. And it's a hallway fight scene, too. Your favorite.
Oh, I love hallway fights.
It's a hallway fight scene that leads into a kitchen fight scene, which...
I want a t-shirt that says hallway fights forever.
I kind of like kitchen fights, too.
Can I find that?
Probably. But I like kitchen fight scenes a lot, too, actually. You know, because there's a lot of fire and sharp objects.
I just got a Twitter notification that Jesus Christ tweeted in the first time in a while. So, looks like he's back, everyone.
And I think on that note, I really need to rethink my religious views.
Repent.
No, I think I'm just going to sin 10 times as much now.
Hallway fights forever.
All right. I think that's going to do it for us on this episode, though. If you guys have any other characters or video games or any other type of intellectual properties you'd like to see get the live action treatment, let us know in the comments below. Dan, as always, it's a pleasure having you, man. I love having you on the show, bro.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, thanks. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for us. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.